but then Dave's a real crybaby, so we'll have to wait and see what the referees calls.
Jim Harvey's boat, Steve David making a great start on the outside.
From the O'Doul's eye in the sky, you see the Pico in front. There's Budweiser second, and there's Greg Hopp in third.
Where the Budweiser's in trouble. Oh, we have a crash.
The Budweiser is overturned underwater. Unbelievable what happened. It looked like he ran
Was
into
it one of
Hopp's
those
rooster
spots you
tail.
showed us on the tour, or did somebody get in the way?
No, everything was fine. Chip went out a little bit, and already Hopp was too close. Some team driving there, and I think, Chip moved out a little bit and got the boat in the air, and I went to the side a little bit, and then Hopp was already too close and pulling in, and so I went through his rooster tail out through the other way. So, but that's what happens. As I said before, some team driving looks on by my part, but I don't know what the referees will say.
You said you banged your knee a little bit, but you're okay.
Yeah, a lot better than last time.
So listen to the Budweiser communications as they head for the start.
10, 9, you'll be early, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Well, you heard it. You're going to be early, and indeed they were. Pico and then Budweiser, so each boat penalized a minute. That means the boat here on the right of your screen, David is the leader. And here is some serious talk going on between Commissioner Bill Donor, driver Dave Villwock, and Budweiser crew chief Mark Smith. And Steve came in to find out just what the discussion was all about here over that last heat.
David, you thought you were on time?
There's something wrong with this, with the count systems. They can't seem to get the count. We go off of clocks to when the race has started, because many times we can't see the start clock. Pico jumped the gun by quite a ways. I couldn't see the clocks, the official clock, where I was at, so I had to go off the boat clock and my radio guy, which is in a conversation with the UHRA about when the race was starting. That was about 2 seconds different. We adjusted ours. We were on the starting line, yet they still say we're over. There's no way we're over according to our count. But, you know, they got to have to get this straight. We look like a bunch of buffoons.
See from the O'Doul's eye in the sky, the boats appear to be fine here, but it's going to get awful tight inside.
Keep an eye on the red boat. Miss Budweiser runs out of room, goes through the rooster tail, clear to the outside, and this is the view Villwock has as he gets his boat back under control. But at this point, TJ, he is running dead
Dave, is
last.
this anything you can even try to put back on the water?
Well, we'll look at it right now. I don't, it's doubtful. It's unfortunate Muscatel had to get in there and do the things that he did. Then.
What exactly happened? We saw you come through the rooster tail. We saw parts fly, and that's all we could see from here.
Nate pinched in really at the start, didn't give me enough room between myself and Muscatel. Then Muscatel moved out, and with me being restricted, I don't have the same acceleration that the other teams do, so I get left behind. And so I was behind by about a boat length or so, and then Muscatel went out, and Nate came in, and there wasn't no place with Miss Budweiser to be.
Did you hit a boat or just a rooster tail with the right front?
It hit
the boat hit the line blind, and in turn one, the Budweiser was penalized 1 lap for bearing out and nearly pushing the Elam outside the outer course marker buoys. That left the Budweiser out of the race, though Dave Villwock continued to pedal the beer wagon.
Called a lap penalty for bearing out. When did you find that out?
Well, what do you think happened all the other heats, huh? If I move 5 feet, then it's bearing out, but it doesn't seem like it works the other way, and so I don't know. You'll have to talk to them. I've been running on the outer course markers for the last several weeks, and so Nate and I ran on the outer course markers, and so I don't know what the call is. I don't know if it's right or not, but you guys have to go look at the overhead and make the call.
All right, Dave Villwock, driver of the Budweiser, upset. He's just resigned himself to the officials, and off he heads to the trailer.
Speed to catch Dave Villwock, who will pick up win number 61 of his career and his 8th win at the Columbia Cup. And Steve David nailed to start the first 2 boats across the line. Did not get on top. They jumped the gun. Steve David nailed the start finish. Still, Dave Villwock put him in trouble. Steve David Alboy closed the gap, but he's got to pitched him in there. Steve David second in the Alboy Oberto. I don't think that's going to be your official order of finish, though. And just yeah, we're hearing possible 1 lap penalty on the 96. Yeah. Possible. That's what they're discussing. We don't know. Well, that would change everything, wouldn't it? Now we're we're hearing it was not for jumping the gun, but possibly for cutting in on Steve David.
Eric said you shut it down after you crossed the finish line, figuring because of the throttle problem.
The throttle was stuck. Yeah, and then they told me I had to run another lap. So then I had to fire it back up again, and then the throttle, I don't know what, something came back where it was starting to work, at least part way, I don't know. So I managed to get around there and then come back to the pits.
What, if anything, did you do wrong, as far as you're concerned?
I don't know. The sun was up there. We ran this, we used to run this at 420. We ran it at 450. Sun's kind of low. There's a dead boat up there someplace they're telling me about. Then there's another boat that we're lapping that's all about in the same vicinity, so I'm trying to miss everybody.
Yeah.
And then Steve David runs up the middle, and that's my fault, I guess. I don't know.
It's frustrating. Got to be. I mean, you had almost a perfect weekend going.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Moment. Smoking up the outside is the Oh Boy Oberto trying to push to the front inside of the Oberto. No, just slightly outside, beg your pardon, of the Oberto. You have the Qatar. They're all going to be real tight into that corner. The Peterson May has the inside. The second lane is Oberto. The third lane is going to be the Qatar, as you see, as they arc around that upper corner up by the Mercer Island floating bridge to come down here. And this is going to be a drag race to the line.
Mike, let me jump in real quick. We've got Dave Villwock standing by with our Chris Francis.
Thank you, Steve, and the guys in the booth talking about the starts, and we've been talking about that since you've been here. What your assessment of that one? I know you didn't like it.
I don't know. I got run into from the behind. Steve David went up and leapfrogged everybody, and I planted alongside of them, and then a bunch of guys came up and ran into the left side of me. And then tried to gather that back together, and then try not to run over anybody and get to the start. So it was a mess.
It was a mess, and
then they said I had a lap penalty, but then they rescinded that. So I didn't try to run. I didn't try to run down the Oberto for about a lap and a half, and then they said, well, we don't know yet. But I didn't know that until after the checker flight came out.
You'll get another shot at him here.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Dave.
On the outside, Italy number 1. And it's Villwock with the lead. He's going to swing it away. Straight towards the shore. Then cuts back into the course. Something must have happened on the equipment. Villwock went straight towards the shore.
Standing here with Dave Villwock, the driver of the U-37 Miss Beacon Plumbing. Dave, can you take us through what happened? It's kind of hard for a lot of people didn't really see what actually went on out there.
Yeah, neither did I. I thought the skid fin fell off just because all of a sudden the boat steering all changed, and usually everybody thought it was like the skid fin fell off. After the fact, there's a part here. This part failed, and you can see the big scallop. That's an unnatural deal, and it didn't go through the propeller because the propeller's fine. Doesn't have carbon fiber on it, so it went back and hit the rudder, and just before the apex caused the boat to go in and then straight, and then as an evidence to that, this part here is already gone. It doesn't have any red or green paint on it, so it was gone before he hit us in the back rear corner. When we went straight, he hit us in the back rear corner, and but something caused there's a bunch of yellow paint on the rudder, so that came off of that part.
So basically, I mean, is there anything that you could have done about it aside from know that this part was going to fail?
No, there's nothing you can do. It just sometimes stuff breaks, and I don't know why, but you can see the shear line is sheared right in front of that part there. It sheared that off probably because this is so strong right here that it pushed it in and just sheared the whole part off. And when that happened, then the rest of this all came off and somehow got wrapped around a rudder right at the wrong time. Then Jimmy Shane came in and mashed into the back of us after that.
So what's the prognosis for you and your team?
Well, we just got to get another part built and glue it on and go to Seattle.
Right. But you're not planning on racing after Seattle, is that right?
I don't. We'll see what develops. Yeah.
Well, we got it straight from Dave Villwock's mouth himself, and I guess he's done for today. He will be racing in Seattle, but just an unfortunate accident out on the water.
The good news is the costless Beacon Plumbing was ahead of the Alberto at least when it happened.
That is good news. All right, that'll do it for us.
Really want to be right up here in the north corner before 30 seconds. That way you're being too early. So they're in really good shape. They're right at that exit pin, right at 30, and that's about where you want to be.
And we've got somebody that is...
That's Dave Villwock has hooked the boat. He spun the boat out. Poor Dave has had a hard time these last 2 weeks keeping the boat going straight, and he's in the infield.
I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know if a radio guy told him that I was there or what. You know, but I anticipated him following along to the starboard, and it just didn't happen.